Okay, we'll call this meeting of the Board of Adjustment and Appeals to order. There are 5 members present. Therefore, 4 affirmative votes are required to grant a variance or appeal. The Board is authorized to grant or deny a variance by Part 3, Section 60 of the Englewood City Charter. Anyone aggrieved by a decision rendered by this Board may appeal that decision to a court of record. However, such appeal must be made within 30 days of the Board's decision. The variance is effective at the end of the appeal period. Building permits for construction associated with an approved variance will not be issued until the appeal period is ended. Building permits must be obtained and construction begun within 180 days of the variance's effective date. We'll introduce the case. Staff will give us an overview. The applicant will have a chance to speak. Anyone present who wishes to speak for or against it will have a chance. We'll go back to staff and see if we have any questions for them, and then we'll close the public hearing. The Board will discuss and vote. Will you please take roll, Ms. Fenn?
Present.
Here.
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 Present. We'll open the public hearing for case VAR 2016-012. We have proof of publication and posting. I'll pass that around.
I do. Jeremy Lott, the Community Development Department. This is case number VAR 2016-012. It's for 4520 South Pennsylvania Street. Here's a vicinity map of the property. You can see 4520 South Pennsylvania outlined in red. There were 2 neighbor notifications submitted as part of the variance application. Those are both across the street at 4519 and 4525 South Pennsylvania. The property is zoned R1C, and you can see an aerial map here. The surrounding properties are similar, and they have similar zoning. This is a site plan that was submitted with the variance application. It's actually, South Pennsylvania Street is on the right side here, so north is actually on the bottom of the lot. So it's backwards from what you see in the aerial. So that can be a little confusing, but this part of this variance application, you can see right there in the middle, toward the bottom of the lot. The request is for that portion of the overall site, and the request is to reduce the side setback from 5 feet to 3 feet. When the house was constructed, the zoning only required 3 feet side setback on that side. The applicant wanted to show the overall, the grand scheme of the final site plan. So that's why everything was submitted, and it shows all the overall expansion of the buildings. But the application, the variance request is just for the section in the central bottom part of the lot. This is what the ultimate house would look like from the rear. You can see the expansion from the rear on the bottom. And then this is just a Google Maps aerial of the property, which I believe has been cleaned up since this photo has been taken a little bit. So, are there any questions for me?
Can you go back to the other one with
that one?
More back? So one thing I read in here, it said that it currently has a setback of 3.5 feet. Is it really only a 1.5 foot difference, or is it really 2 feet they need?
The existing house?
Yeah. I thought it said in here that it was currently the setback was 3.5 feet.
It says 3.6, I think, in the lower right corner.
I think it was right at 3 from what I recall. We can clarify that. Is it right at 3? It's right at 3. I apologize if there is an error. But the house is 3 feet from the property line, and so the existing addition, or the proposed addition, would line up right at that 3 foot line.
And was For the extension on the garage, the setback's different?
So the setbacks for accessory buildings or garages, those are just required to be 3 feet from the side property lines.
Okay.
So it would kind of line up as well, but
But that's why that's already constructed and
correct,
didn't need a variance.
correct,
So it's only building B that we're talking about?
correct.
Okay.
And the addition to that existing house toward the south or the up part of the site plan, that meets all setbacks, current setbacks. So it's just the northern or lower portion.
Looking at the sketch, the house that would be below this, so underneath it, the 4530.
Mm-hmm.
So going by just the sketch, I'm assuming that setback is 6 feet?
For 4530 or
In
45?
between 4520 and 4530.
Remember they're reversed. This is
Ah, so it would be
4510.
4510.
I don't know the exact setback or how far that house is from the property. I'm assuming if it was built to code at the time, it would have been 7 feet. Or if it was built nowadays, it would be 5 feet.
Okay.
Any other questions for staff at this point? Thank you, Mr. Lott.
You're welcome.
Will the applicant please come forward?
Okay, thank you. I do. Robert Owen, 4520 South Pennsylvania Street.
Hello, Mr. Owen.
Hello.
So, do you have anything to add beyond what you've already submitted? I mean, we've got your request and all the data there. So, I mean, if you have anything you want to add, or
Not really. I think everything is pretty clean and easy. It's the goal was just to follow the same house line as the extension continues. And initially, I had intended on that building even going further, but I stopped it several feet because there's a tree there that I'm trying to save also. So that allows me to save the tree. I'd consider that significant enough to mention.
I had one question. Did you make any attempt to contact the neighbors directly next door, 4510 or 4530, for the neighbor notifications?
Yes, especially the neighbor on 4510. I had good communication with her. She just declined to sign the form for whatever reason, but I had kept in good communication with her. I'd shown her drawings and models and the whole thing.
So she, verbally told you she's not opposed to it?
No, she didn't say she wasn't opposed to it. She said she didn't want to sign the form is all.
Okay. Any other questions for the applicant?
I have a quick question. I don't know if you've measured, but eyeballing it, so then 4510, is that set back 5-6 feet?
Yeah, 40. They give the short side and a larger side, but the houses are all exactly the same distance apart.
Okay.
So on that other side, I have more. Let's say I have 6 feet and she has 3 feet or so.
Right.
So it just is the opposite on the other side.
Okay.
So the tree that you refer to, where is it in the site plan or in the larger picture?
It'd be easier to see in. Okay, sorry to go down or this way. Okay, good. So on the bottom of the drawing between the garage square. And
I think that thing has a laser pointer, doesn't it?
oh,
Mine.
is it?
We're fancy.
Ooh, right there. Tree go. Excuse me, I'm not really this shaky. The tree goes right there. Can you all see it? Just kind of right between those two buildings. Or it is right there. It doesn't go right there.
So it's in the shadows of the aerial view, the Google map?
Yeah, it probably is there. Yeah, that's.
Go the other direction, I think.
Oh, I understand what you're saying. It's hard to see. It's dark. I actually have 3 of these trees on the property. They're a potential 30-foot tree, I would say. They're a Vanderwolf pine. They're beautiful trees. I planted them 10 years ago, and I'm losing one of them already on the south side. So I wanted to preserve the 2 that I still have, the other 2, and I'm excited to be able to do that. They're beautiful trees.
Any other questions for the applicant? Thank you, Mr. Ron.
Thank you for being here tonight.
Is anyone present who wishes to speak in favor of this? Anyone present wish to speak opposed to it? Any other questions for staff? Okay, we'll close the public hearing. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that the case VAR 2016-012 be granted variance to encroach 2 feet into the required 5-foot setback.
I'll second.
Seems pretty reasonable to me. It's not even going to be visible to anybody. I went by there and it was hard to even see it from either the street or the alley. I think this is what variances are for. Seems totally reasonable.
Yeah.
Seems like when we're keeping an addition flush with an existing old setback, that's something we've generally approved.
Yeah, I think it makes sense.
I mean, I agree. I'd like to suggest some different wording for how we approve it.
You want to change the motion?
Yeah, if we could.
What's your,
I'd like to move the case VAR 2016-012 be granted a variance to encroach up to 2 feet into the required north setback, not to exceed the plane of the existing residence.
I'll second. Nice work.
I think it's a replacement motion, or, okay, I'm not really sure what the difference is. Okay. Modification.
Can I withdraw my first motion, or do we have to vote on it?
Let's just make it friendly, right?
You can withdraw your second on mine, then we can make it a friendly deal.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Yes.
I do accept the friendly amendment.
All right, let's vote.
I vote yes. I think the unique physical conditions of the existing house warrant it on the first criterion. The second criterion, it doesn't affect public health or safety or welfare. Third criteria doesn't permanently impair the development of adjacent properties. I think that's correct. And it's not self-imposed difficulties following what's already there.
I voted yes for the reasons stated.
I voted yes for the reasons stated.
I also voted yes for the reasons stated.
I voted yes for the reasons stated by Mr. Friesen. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the June 8th meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All who were present and wish to vote in favor of approval, please state aye. Aye. Opposed, same. Those abstained would be Mr. Taylor and I think, yeah, the rest of us were here, right? Yeah. Is there a motion to approve the findings of fact from 3575 to 3595 South Cherokee?
I so move.
Second.
All in favor who are present, state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same. Mr. Taylor abstained. Motion to approve findings of fact for 2880 South Corona.
I so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor of approving the findings of fact from 2880 South Corona Street, please state aye. Aye. Opposed? Same. None. Mr. Taylor abstains. Do you have anything for us, Mr. Lott? Mr. Comer?
I do not have anything further to add.
Anyone on the board? Welcome, Mr. Taylor. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. All right, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Yes.
All right, we'll take Mr. Friesen as second, and all in favor